Oh yeah, what we think about it? What we think about it? Tell me this isn't tough. Okay. So today we're gonna be back in it. The 48 Laws of Power. This is still the same day for me, actually, as when I recorded it the first time. I went to the orientation, the job orientation. Remember, because I said that I had to go do that. But all of the documents or all of the information that I needed, I submitted last minute, so the system wasn't updated yet, so I couldn't like do all of my orientation stuff. So I literally came back like immediately, recorded some TikToks, made some YouTube videos, went ahead scheduled them, um, which is brings me back to this. Now the 48 Laws of Power, bro. I'm really starting to like this book. As you know, last time. Oh, but before I do that, how y'all doing? You know, go ahead in the comments, write to me, let me know. Like it's good to hear from y'all, bro. I love talking to y'all. I would love to talk to y'all. You know, I haven't yet. You know, I'm new to content creation, but I would love to talk to y'all. Uh, so yeah, how was your week, bro? How was your week? Tell me in the comments. Like, be my family, bro. Like, go ahead, Instagram, uh, TikTok, all of that is in the description. I don't have right now. I don't have like a overall Instagram. I have the one that I have for my producing, and then I have like one for like all of my high school and like just like that account. But that's like my personal account. But that's not really like account I use anymore. And for my content creation, I don't really have anything. So I'm gonna make an Instagram. I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. Y'all just give me some time. I'm doing all of this. I said I was gonna like stockpile it and wait until everything was already made, but then I thought about it and I was like, if I'm not gonna start now, I'm never gonna start. So went ahead and literally the next day that I thought about it, just started posting Instagram, start making TikToks, and I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's still the first day, so it's hard to say. You know, it could just be motivation, me doing this out of motivation. I didn't take my medicine, um, but I'm still chugging along. I feel pretty achieved. Uh, as regards to the job, you know, um, I'm not too pressed for it right now. I definitely do need it, but I'm not too pressed for it. Uh, and yeah, all that to the side though, because I've literally been yapping for like 3 minutes. Y'all just sit here and just let me talk, bro. If you remember last time we stopped at the preface, the preface. Uh, remember it's the same day. So y'all are probably like, oh, here he goes and stuttering and his bad speech and just chill on me. I'm gonna get better, bro. I promise. Just chill. Just wait, okay? And we're gonna get right into it. I think 20 minutes. I think we'll do something like 20 minutes. Okay? That'll be my thing. 20 minutes of reading. All right. Oh my bad. If you remember where we were, he was talking about how your emotions are the leading cause of how you basically like lose your power. Like being emotional is what makes you powerless because you aren't able to make the proper decisions or the most rational decision. Also, I posted a YouTube video about game theory. That kind of ties into this, right? You can't be 100% rational and make the most optimal choice for you in that situation unless you are calm and your emotions are not clouding your judgment. Remember that. Um, let's see, where were we? Okay, I'm gonna just go back to the start of the page. Love and affection are also potentially destructive in that they blind you to the often self-serving interest of those whom you least suspect of playing a power game. You cannot represent you cannot repress anger or love or avoid feeling them, and you should not try. But you should be careful about how you express them, and most importantly, they should never influence your plans and strategies in any way. Related to mastering your emotions is the ability to distance yourself from the present moment and think objectively about the past and future. Like Janus, the double faced Roman deity and guardian of all gates and doorways, you must be able to look in both directions at once, the better to handle danger from wherever it comes, Such is the face you must create for yourself. One face looking continuously to the future and the other one to the past. Basically saying, step outside, be observant, and just watch, look at the situation that you're in from an outside viewpoint. That way you're able to apply game theory and make the most optimal decision in that situation. For the future, the motto is no days unalert. Nothing should catch you by surprise because you are constantly imagining problems before they arise. Instead of spending your time dreaming of your plan's happy ending, you must work on calculating every possible permutation and pitfall that might emerge in it. The future, you see, the more steps ahead you plan, the more powerful you become. The other face of Janus looks constantly to the past, though not to remember past hurts or bear grudges. That would only curb your power. Half of the game is learning how to forget those events in the past that eat away at you and cloud your reason. The real purpose of the backwards glancing eye is to educate yourself constantly. You look at the past to learn from those who came before you. The many historical examples in this book will greatly help that process. Then, having looked at the past, you look closer at hand to your own actions and those of your friends. This is the most vital school you can learn from because it comes from personal experience. Hold on, I'm sorry. Let me get some water. I've just been yapping. So one thing about me that not many people, I guess people around me know, but people don't really know, is I waterfall all of my drinks. Bottled, can, especially bottled. Sometimes can, put my mouth on it so it doesn't leak. But especially like water bottles. Also, Great Value water is the best water. Just thought I'll throw that out there. All right. Okay. This is the most vital school you can learn from because it comes from personal experience. You begin by examining the mistakes you have made in the past, the ones that have most grievously held you back. You analyze them in terms of the 48 laws of power, and you extract from them a lesson and an oath. I shall never repeat such a mistake. I shall never fall into a trap again. If you can evaluate and observe yourself in the way you can learn to break, in that way, you can learn to break the patterns of the past, an immensely valuable skill. Basically, after reading this book and after hearing me read this and after every page, you should be constantly and whenever you stop reading, you should constantly go back and reflect on in past situations where you were disempowered and you couldn't do anything because of how you handled the situation. Then reapply the 48 laws of power that we're reading through and reapply everything that we're learning so far, and then take that, reapply it to the situation, and kind of run through the game theory of how this would end. Run through and kind of and how you should look at this is kind of like a game of chess, right? Because they said it. It's a high level tactical game where you're pushing, you're pulling, you're making sure that things don't come back to you, but you're advancing, and all of that is kind of like chess. So just like chess, you have to think moves ahead, and you have to be calculated with it, be observant, look outside in, don't get too emotional, don't get too tunnel visioned. Okay? That's basically what this is saying when it says go back and then reevaluate this with the 48 laws of power. Power requires the ability to play with appearances. To this end, you must learn to wear many masks and keep a bag full of deceptive tricks. Deception and masquerade should not be seen as ugly or immoral. All humans' interaction requires deception on many levels, and in some ways, what separates humans from animals is our ability to lie and deceive. In Greek myths, in India, Mahabharata cycle, in the Middle Eastern epic of Gilgamesh, it is the privilege of the gods to use deceptive arts. A great man, Odysseus, for instance, was judged by his ability to rival the craftiness of the gods, stealing some of their divine power by matching them in wits and deception. Deception is a developed art of civilization and the most potent weapon in the game of power. You cannot succeed at deception unless you take a somewhat distanced approach to yourself. Unless you can be many different people wearing the mask that the day and the moment require, With such a flexible approach to all appearances, including your own, you lose a lot of the inward heaviness that holds people down. Make your face as malleable as the actors. Work to conceal your intentions from others. Practice luring people into traps. Playing with appearances and mastering arts of deception are among the aesthetic pleasures of life. They also they are also key components in the acquisition of power. In this, if to perfectly apply the 48 laws of power the way that Robert Greene is stating, is you have to not be emotionless, but will your emotions be affected uh by what is going on around you? No. But the scary thing is like you have to understand, if your emotions are not affected, you feel nothing. You feel nothing. One good thing about human nature, and one thing about human nature is you get pleasure from your emotions. Every, like, whether you feel something, like you have when you have a feeling and you actually genuinely like feel it, right? You literally like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's hard, and to detach yourself in that way, it's scary. Um, Personally, I have not detached myself from this world and from earthly things yet. It's a hard thing to do, but I'm not gonna lie and say, oh yeah, I have, because it's hard, and don't lie to yourself. Trying to develop a stoic mentality of, oh, like, this is this, that is that. I feel like this. I'm cold and ruthless. This, that. Don't lie to yourself. Just be honest with yourself. It's okay. But to perfectly apply this, you have to take a step back from your emotional self, and you think calculated, premeditated. Everything has a purpose and a reason, and everything that you do is tactical. You cannot succeed at success. You cannot succeed. Oh, let me take a step back. My bad. Okay, I already read that anyway. If deception is the most potent weapon in your arsenal, then patience in all things is your crucial shield. Patience will protect you from making moronic blunders. Like mastering your emotions, patience is a skill. It does not come naturally, but nothing about power is natural. Power is more godlike than anything in the natural world, and patience is the supreme virtue of the gods, who have nothing but time. Everything good will happen, the grass will grow again, if you give it time and see several steps into the future. Impatience, on the other hand, only makes you look weak. It is a principal impediment to power. Power is essentially immoral, and one of the most important skills to acquire is the ability to see circumstances rather than good or evil. Power is a game. This cannot be repeated too often. And in game, you do not judge your opponents by their intentions, but by the effect of their actions. You measure their strategy and their power by what you can see and feel. How often in someone's intentions made the issue only to cloud and deceive? What does it matter if another player, your friend or rival, intended good things and had only your interest at heart? If the effects of his actions lead to actions with all kinds of justification, actions lead to, my fault. It is where did I? It is only natural for people to cover up their actions with all kinds of justifications, always assuming that they have acted out of goodness. You must learn to inwardly laugh each time you hear this, and never get caught up in gauging someone's intentions and actions through a set of moral judgments that are really an excuse for accumulation of power. It is a game. Your opponent sits opposite you. Both of you behave as gentlemen or ladies, observing the rules of the game and taking nothing personally. You play with a strategy, and you observe your opponent's moves with as much calmness as you can muster. In the end, you will appreciate the politeness of those you are playing with more than their good, sweet intentions. Train your eye to follow the results of their moves, the outward circumstances, and do not be distracted by anything else. Half of your mastery of power comes from what you do not do, what you do not allow yourself to get dragged into. For this skill, you must learn to judge all things by what they cost you. As Nietzsche wrote, the value of a thing sometimes lies not in what one attains with it, but in what one pays for it, what it costs us. Perhaps you will attain your goal and worthy goal at that, but what price? Apply this standard to everything, including whether to collaborate with other people or come to their aid. In the end, and life is short. In the end, life is short, opportunities are few, and you have only so much energy to draw on. And in this sense, time is important, a consideration as others. Never waste valuable time or mental peace of mind on the affairs of others. That is too high price to pay. Power is a social game. To learn and master it, you must develop the ability to study and understand people. As the great 17th century thinker and courtier Balthazar Gracian wrote, many people spend time studying the properties of animals or herbs. How much more important it would be to study those of people with whom we must live or die. To be honest, to be a master player, you must also be a master psychologist. You must recognize motivations and see through the cloud of dust which people surround their actions. An understanding of people's hidden motives is the single greatest piece of knowledge you can have in acquiring power. It opens up endless possibilities of deception, seduction, and manipulation. I literally watched a video about this today. Just being able to read people and look at them and see what they want, see what type of person they are, and kind of psychoanalyze them. It will teach you how to handle them, right? It's almost, and it's not almost, it is a game. He's saying it all the time. He's saying it completely. This is literally a game, right? Where you look at somebody, they make a move, you gauge their move, and you kind of you make an inference of what type of player they are, right? And then you act and you make your move based off of what type of player they are. That is what this is saying. That is how you should be approaching these relationships whenever, or these, I guess, these situations where like where you need to obtain power. When obtaining power, this is what you do: is you take a step back, you see how they move, you react to them, and you kind of counter them. Okay. People are of infinite complexity, and you can also spend a lifetime watching them without ever fully understanding them. So it is also the more important then to begin your education now. In doing so, you must also keep one principle in mind. Never discriminate as to whom you study and whom you trust. Never trust anyone completely and study everyone, including friends and loved ones. Finally, you must learn always to take the indirect route to power. Disguise your cunning, like a billiard ball that caroms several times before it hits its target. Your moves must be planned and developed in the least obvious ways. By training yourself to be indirect, you can thrive in the modern court, appearing the paragon of decency while being the consummate manipulator. Consider the 48 Laws of Power, a kind of handbook on the arts of indirection. The laws are based on the writings of men and women who have studied and mastered the games of power. These writings span a period of more than 3,000 years and were created in civilizations as disparate as ancient China and Renaissance Italy. Yet they share common threads and themes, together hitting at an essence of power that has yet to be fully articulated. The 48 Laws of Power are the distillation of this accumulated wisdom, gathered from the writings of the most illustrious strategists, Sun Tzu, statements, Bismarck, courtiers, Castellone, seducers, Casanova, and con artist Yellowcade Well in history. Basically just a lot of prominent figures who are very good strategists. The laws have a simple premise. Certain actions almost always increase one's power, the observance of the law, while others decrease and even ruin us, the transgressions of the law. These transgressions and observances are illustrated by historical examples. The laws are timeless and definitive. The 48 Laws of Power can be used in several ways. By reading the book straight through, you can learn about power in general, although several of the laws may seem not to pertain directly to your life. In time, you will probably find that all of them have some application, and that in fact they are interrelated. By getting an overview of the entire subject, you will best be able to evaluate your own past actions and gain a greater degree of control over your immediate affairs. A thorough reading of the book will inspire thinking and reevaluation long after you finish it. The book has also been designed for browsing and for examining the laws that seem as that particular moment most pertinent to you. Say you are experiencing problems with a superior and cannot understand why your efforts have not led to more gratitude or promotion. Several laws specifically address the underlying relationship, and you are almost certainly transgressing one of those. By browsing the initial paragraphs for the 48 laws in the table of contents, you can identify the pertinent law. Finally, the book can be browsed through and picked apart for entertainment, for an enjoyable ride through the foibles and great deeds of our predecessors in power. A warning, however, to those who use the book for this purpose: it might be better to turn back. Power is endlessly seductive and deceptive in its own way. It is a labyrinth. Your mind becomes consumed with solving its infinite problems, and you soon realize how pleasantly lost you have become. In other words, it becomes most amusing by taking it seriously. Do not be frivolous with such a critical matter. The gods of power frown on the frivolous. They give ultimate satisfaction only to those who study and reflect, and punish those who skim the surface looking for a good time. Any man who tries to be good at all things all the time is bound to come to ruin among great numbers who are not good. Hence, a prince who wants to keep his authority must learn how not to be good, and use that knowledge or refrain from using it as necessary requires. The Prince Niccolo Machiavelli. I'm gonna read that again. Any man who tries to be good all the time is bound to come to ruin among the great number who are not good. Hence, a prince who wants to keep his authority must learn how not to be good, and use that knowledge or refrain from using it as necessity requires. Machiavelli, 1469 to 1527. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop that here. And in the next one, hey, we're done. We're finally done with the preface. Can you see in the next one we have law number 1: never outshine the master. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the judgment for it, and I'll see you in the next one. Always make those above you feel comfortable. Okay. I'm tired, man. Reading is a muscle. Also, don't just listen to me read. Like, make sure you also go out there and read, because like whenever you read, you're upping your comprehension, and it doesn't even have to be like self-help books like these, but fiction as well. Like, whenever you read, you're expanding your brain, your knowledge, and your vocabulary, as well as your literacy. So I suggest everybody read. Go read 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day. Every other day, if you read, just read something. Just try. I love you, bro. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the judgment and get the outro out the way, so y'all can go back to doing whatever you want, whatever you were doing. I appreciate you for coming out to my video. Let me finish this up for you. Always make those above you feel comfortably superior. In your desire to please and impress them, do not go too far in displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite. Inspire fear and insecurity. Make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you will attain the heights of power. All right, and that is the judgment for Law 1. As I said once again, thank you so much for popping out. Hey, we chilling in the fireplace right now. It's a little warm, a little toasty. So I hope you had the fan on, blowing a little bit. You're gonna do great things, bro. I believe in you. I'm talking to myself, yes, but I'm talking to you. Like, boy, girl, whoever you are, like, I don't know who's gonna see this, but you're gonna do great things. Okay? Just chill. All right, just vibe. Go ahead. Throw on the next video. I'm probably gonna do this again. Not right this second. I gotta take a little brain break, but I'm definitely gonna keep reading through the book. So can't wait to chill with you. Like, comment, subscribe. Do it right now. Like, comment, subscribe. Turn on the bell so that you get notified whenever I post. That'd be nice. I'm looking to post once a day. Okay, I'm going to be posting once a day. It's gonna be something different. I'm gonna come with a schedule. I'm gonna write a schedule, and when I do write that schedule, hey, I'm gonna let you know. You're part of the family. You're gonna know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm literally gonna make a YouTube video, probably me making the schedule. So you're family though. So it feels good. All right, I'll see y'all boys in the next one. Peace.